Hey everyone, it's Eric with FirearmTutorials.com, and today we're going to compare two different Savage rifles. These are both rimfire 22 rifles, both MK2s. So you'll see there's a couple differences between these guys. So on the bottom here I've got the MK2 FV-SR TB with a threaded barrel. It's 16 inches, it's got a plastic stock, Accu-Trigger, comes with a 5-round magazine. Nothing too special about this guy. I'll throw the MSRP up there. Great entry-level rimfire gun, bolt action of course. And then above it, we've kind of got its bigger brother. So this is the MKII TRR SR, TB with the threaded barrel as well. Pretty much the same gun, same action, same trigger. Got a much nicer stock here. This is wood instead of plastic. It's got a 22-inch barrel, and there you see the MSRP is considerably more. And of course, that does not include the optics that are on here. So I'm going to break these down individually, give you the pros and cons of each so you guys can get a better idea of which one to buy if you're looking for a Savage rimfire bolt action gun. Okay, so here's a look at the MK2 FV-SR. Like I said, it's got a plastic stock, a 16-inch barrel. It's got the Accu-Trigger like most of the Savage guns, which is a great stock trigger. And this was a great option for just an entry-level gun in rimfire. Give you a look at the rest of it here. So the optic I went with here is a Nikon Pro Staff 2x7x32. So it's not going to go way out there, but you know, with a 16-inch barrel, I wasn't worried about, you know, shooting out past 200-300 yards with this guy. But I'll give you a good look at, you know, what you're going to get. It's got a kind of an interesting finish here. It almost looks like an anodized finish, and as far as I know, it's free floating. You can see the plastic stock isn't actually touching the barrel. Threaded in 1/2 by 28, of course, for a suppressor. And it did come with this scope mount, which worked great for me. You've got plenty of room here to adjust your eye relief. Of course, it comes with the bolt, everything you need. A pretty nice action. Trigger's adjustable. I've got a different video on how to adjust the trigger for these. And it worked well, but my main complaint about this gun is with the plastic stock and the short barrel. It's actually a little too light. So if you're trying to shoulder fire it specifically, every tiny little movement you make transitions straight to the muzzle, and it's really hard to shoot with any type of precision because this rifle is so light. If you have a heavier can, I put a Tyrant 45 on the end, which added almost an extra pound to it, which helped a little bit, but it did change point of impact quite a bit using a 45 can for a 22 caliber. Like I said, you know, it's not a bad option. I didn't go with the big bucks on the optic, of course, because I wasn't really planning on trying to make this a long distance shooting gun. Of course, with a 22, you can't really expect that. So pros, it's cheap, it's accurate, but the big con with this is just the weight, and I really hate this plastic stock. It's so small, especially right here where you grip it. If you've got big hands, I mean, this is almost like a toy gun, and the length of pull is a little shorter for my liking because I have long arms, but that's pretty much it for the FV-SR. So let's go ahead and take a look at the TRR SR. Okay, so here's a look at the MK2 TRR SR with a threaded barrel. Right off the bat, you might notice much better stock. If you take a look at this, it's a nice solid wood. It's got a nice little textured pad on the back here, not that you would need it for a 22, but you see it's got a nice texture to it, and it's heavy. It's a nice heavy stock. You see here, like I complained about the last one not having enough room, this is more than enough. I mean, I have pretty big hands, and this is just right, if not a little on the big side for me, so that's definitely a plus. Retains the same action and trigger as the cheaper model, same 5-round magazine. You can get a 10-round magazine. You've got two holes here for a sling or a bipod. The 22-inch barrel is going to give you a little more accuracy. If you look at the finish of this, it looks a little bit different than the other one. This looks more of like it's probably hard to capture it on camera, but this looks like more of a powder-coated finish. So it just looks like it's a little better quality. The other one looked a little bit cheaper, even though it's pretty much the same exact barrel, same profile and everything. Like I said, action's the same. With the optic here, I decided to go with a Zeiss scope. I wanted something a little nicer, and I went with a 4x12x42, which kind of seems like overkill for this gun, but I wanted to buy an optic that if I wanted to use it on a larger rifle, I could do that as well. So I was kind of trying to kill two birds with one stone there. The rings, I use Leupold rings on both guns. They're kind of expensive rings, but for this specifically, I went with the high rings. I technically could get away with the medium, but with the medium rings, there wasn't enough clearance to put the scope caps on here, and with as expensive as this optic was, I kind of figured I would want to keep the scope caps on there, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, my biggest complaint with this, overall, I told you I was satisfied with it. The last gun came with a nice rail to attach your optic to. This came with this ridiculous monstrosity. So basically you mount this on top of there like this, and not only is it a little bit sharp, but it makes the gun almost twice as wide, adds more weight to it, and is just ridiculous. I don't see why you would want side-mounted Picatinny rails on a gun like this. It's not like I'm going to put a light or a laser on the end of this thing. So this, I think, is ridiculous, and it probably costs more for them to use this than the just regular top rail. These are actually Burris rails that I kind of mounted on here, and I mean, they're working, but they're not the best option. But still, the thing it came with is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who would have thought that was a good idea for this gun. But other than that's my only real complaint. It's a little more on the expensive side. See, the MSRP on this is a little high, I think, especially for a 22 gun, rimfire gun. So that's pretty much it. Now the weight on this guy between the longer barrel and the wood stock is significant. Like a night and day difference. I won't say it's too heavy. It's definitely a huge step up in the weight department, which makes it a lot easier, at least for me, to shoot this gun accurately, combined with the design of this stock. I wasn't sure that I was gonna like this style, this like tactical style stock. It wasn't really a selling point for me. It's just what came with this model when I wanted one with a longer barrel, but I actually do like how it feels in my hand, so I'm glad I got that. I think that's about it. If you have these guns supported right and you're shooting quality ammo, I mean, you should be able to shoot these sub-MOA at 100 yards, especially with a quality optic. So I hope that helps you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.